Rangera from Team BriPublish, and today we are in conversation with Srajati Tiwari on our podcast for youth. So, Srajati, you have a very wonderful, writing career, I would say, because you have more than 90 publications, and you have written your first book, The Art of Rising. So, Srishti, apart from writing, you are also creating a lot of ripples and impact on climate awareness. Uh, I would want to understand your journey as an author and how your, work, visionary work, has helped you build up a writing career.
Hello, ma'am. Really great to have you here and have this conversation with you. So, to start with, I will start with how writing came into my mind. And I think writing is something that is that comes out of overthinking. Basically, everybody overthinks a lot, and somehow we kind of articulate it in some means. For example, our mothers will articulate the overthinking in the sweet, tasty food that they make, and simply I think it can be any means through which we can come out of that, and I think writing is the means for me and my thoughts to articulate that, and writing has helped me to become a really better person each day, and that's how it started basically.
Okay. And this book that you have now published on republished, The Art of Rising. Can you tell us what exactly drove you to write a very interesting title? Uh, is it coming from the real life experiences that you've been having through your work or education? How is the book? How did it happen to you?
So, ma'am, basically, when I talk about the art of rising, as its name itself tells, that the important aspect is to rise again. Like, no matter how many times we fail, we have to rise again. So, this book is a very personal to me. It is about my personal experiences, but I wanted to share it among the people because I think in every town, in every small town, there is a girl sitting in that corner having million dreams, but not able to get out of their shelter. So just want readers, if they come across this book, they should get that hope that yes, everything is doable no matter what their circumstances are. So this book is a kind of a personal experiences diving towards the self-help orientation. So it kind of manages both aspects, the experiences which I have and how it has helped me throughout my life. So that's how the book will lead.
Okay. So tell me, Srajati, like, we've seen over a period of time that, the reader base has got impacted a lot because of the digital, revolution that we've had, that, people are more into watching reels or stuff which is probably not even 1 minute or 2 minutes. Their, focus has become very short and very, and also a trend where people are looking for a lot of followers on their page or whatever they are doing. So tell me this, this contemporary readers, how in today's world of being an author, or when you're writing a book, how should one author, or probably how should the story keeps the reader hooked to the story till the end and not to give up in between because of certain changes that are happening around us. Um, somewhere people have more phones in their hands than books. So, what should a writer really, write that the reader is interested to know and continue to read books, in terms of physical form of books?
So, ma'am, basically, in architecture, like as I'm an architect by profession, so there is this example. Like, for example, if you ask a engineer or a draftsman to make a plan of the house, he will make the plan of the house. But if you're an architect, you will think the aspects, you will think the design aspects, and you will just incorporate everything and plan. And this is what there is the difference between a chapati that is offered in the hotel and chapati that is offered by your mom. She adds that soul, that thing inside that chapati. So I think writing is similarly like that. For example, yes, certain kind of readings which are not which find readers boring. They don't find it so interesting that they can leave their reels and go into that. But something is which is very much relatable. Everybody is going through hard times these days because of social media, especially our youth. I feel like in my generation, in my surroundings, I feel everybody is stressed all the time. And I think they quickly go through some reels through distraction and they just get it off. And when we see the lives of other people who are just enjoying or having something good time in their lives, even in reality they are not having, just in pictures, just in filters. So that kind of triggers people. They break their mental health is really like stuck with that. So I think in that cases reading helps a lot. For me, reading helps me a lot. And I think as readers, we will go to the content that is more rooted, that is more legit. And I think the people in the upper tier, if we look at the podcasters, that like there are many famous podcasters. Then if you look at the celebrities, the players, I think Virat Kohli himself mentioned in one interview that how much he read to train his mind. I think, but if you want to go ahead in your life, there is no other way than reading. It couldn't happen through like reels. It's just a distraction, and I think yes, youth is realizing. Some part of youth is definitely realizing.
Yeah, you're so correct. It's scientifically also uh, proven that our right brain activation, or if we want to really use that part of our intuitive brain, then reading, sequencing, or playing certain types of games, which are also done through flashcard methods and all, is the way to activate that side of the brain, and which is primarily uh, a brain which helps in functioning the logical brain also,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
the ideas, you need ideas to even implement or work on. So ideas come from the right brain. So tell me, like, since you are a writer and you understand the value of reading part also, tell me what, being on both the sides, what has changed in today's library, because we all go to libraries, but now there are more virtual libraries than the physical ones. I think only the school and colleges offer a proper library, but apart from that, if we talk about libraries, there are very limited, in number, and community of readers have also become very limited. So tell me, what can help get this back into society, into people, the value of having libraries. One, when we talk about your work also, where you are trying to impact upon the climate and all that, do you think there is some kind of relevance in storytelling, through storytelling, that things can be impacted in a better manner and faster?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, definitely. I think storytelling is the core of everything. For example, if we look at the our scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata. So, for example, in our home itself, nobody will orate Ramayana and Mahabharata to us. But that small instances or like small quote our parents will say in our daily lives, and that kind of train our minds to work to work towards the virtues, to work towards the that thing. I think this is their indirect way of telling us like, yeah, we have to follow something because this is the story and that happened. So I think storytelling is really powerful. Like, for example, now if I consider the climate aspect in World Economic Forums, then in UNIC, which is only the power of storytelling that can really bring a change and impact in society's lives. Because if I'm having an idea but I'm not able to express that, and that cannot or communicated with the people, definitely their impact is not as much as it has to be. And climate change is an issue which is dealing in, especially in cities, with the most vulnerable sections of the society. Because yes, as middle class or upper middle class people, we can afford air conditioners, we can still manage with that. But cities are getting hotter and hotter day by day, and especially the vulnerable sections, people living in slums, are just the condition is deteriorating day by day. But I think, but when we talk in forums and we try to bring a change, when we allocate some kind of funds to them, the story changes. And I think storytelling is a bit bigger role. As I'm a part of research and I'm involved in report writing and stuff like that, I try to bring the issues which are really genuine. And when we have the presentations, I try to express that, because I want to bring a change in the section of that particular section of the society. So I think storytelling is
So,
the only way. Yeah.
correct. But Srajati, when we talk about, these particular, changes that are so much required, uh, but the, section of the reader base is very less, and also to people who can take action becomes much more lesser than the, what we have already. So, what kind of stories do you think? What kind of novels should happen or be written that, this kind of awareness, it kind of becomes fast, and the right reader is just not a passive reader, but it becomes an active doer, in terms of applying that wisdom. So, what kind of books, what kind of genres, what kind of stuff should be put out in the world
I
for the
think in the
readers to,
fast,
get impacted?
yes, I think in the fast-paced world, fiction is definitely losing its importance. People are now less into fiction because there is so much fiction going around in their lives, so they don't want to read another fiction. But I think self-help books are into the market and people are talking about it. And I think more and more self-help books can help through the way, because I think in these recent times when COVID stuck, people came back to reading, and then there was this culture of reading started again, and somehow we are gaining that importance. But definitely due to digital media, we just go through some quotes in Instagram, and we kind of neglect the act of reading in our daily lives. But at the same time, I think there are some people who require reading, for example, to gain certain kind of mental peace. And but I think there should be something that should be like instilled in our system, that is missing, that surely is missing. If we'll have that library culture, for example, in Singapore there is a library culture. Till the metro comes, people will go and they quickly they read. There is also social media, there are also reels, but still that culture is maintained. I think we there is a long way to there, but yes, people will come back.
This point is very, valid, that, having that culture. So, I have noticed, like, because, in my growing years, we would always have a small library in our colony where kids used to freely go. We would exchange books. We would also donate our own story books for the next, generation. So now when we talk about the small, we have so many, momo stalls everywhere. But finding book stalls can be a very, very good, or adding good, book stalls can also impact that. I have also noticed one thing, that earlier when people used to wait, in metros or for metros or buses, there used to be a book stall somewhere close by where they would have multiple books, and sometimes the second-hand book section, and people would buy even on railway stations. But that whole, inertia is somewhere lost, and I think your generation can really impact upon that, and probably, stories which talk about, how things can be transformed can be a very good solution. So, apart, can you tell us something which is very close to your heart in this book of yours, The Art of Rising, or anything that you any kind of obstacle that you faced while writing this, which also become a learning point in your writing journey?
So, as I mentioned, it is full of my own experiences, like from childhood till now. Obviously, I don't consider that I have done everything, but yeah, to arrive at this state, whatever experiences I have gone through, that self I have mentioned. So, like to start with, there was one this childhood incident which I want to mention. Like, for example, I didn't got good marks and I was like crying the entire day. And I remember that day, and I was like very fearful, like my dad will come, he will pakka scold me and this that. And suddenly he came with that rasmalai, and in that guilt, I'm eating that rasmalai because I love sweets actually. So since childhood, I'm loving sweets, and I'm in that guilt, I'm eating that rasmalai, and he didn't said anything, and I was like, what to do now? Because so I think these kind of instances they build you, they build something inside you. So now when I'm facing failures in my life, like actual failures, not that marks or test, that time that kind of reminded me. And today's the day. If I fail someday, I'll go outside, I'll take a pastry and eat it, and I will like, okay, next day you have to work more hard. So I think these small instances are like really personal, and that kind of change you, and especially the kind of resilience and strength it comes from the family, I think, or a very close people who, especially your friends or something, that can only bring you that resilience. I don't believe that you can do everything alone. I really don't believe that. I think you can do things, but yes, you need a proper value system, you need a strength for that, and it can only come from the people you belong to. And the
Correct,
second
correct.
instance, yeah, if I say like about
Yeah.
my mom, so what happened was like basically there was this Diwali day, and like for that time we had some financial issues, and in my childhood times, so like everybody was sad, okay, yeah, this Diwali we're not going for shopping and everything. And then suddenly my mom will open her secret secret money bank, and then she made me and my sister buy two frogs, and I still remember the color of the frog, that was pink in color. And in that Diwali, we both were wearing new frocks, but our parents didn't wear new clothes. So that time we didn't feel that, but yeah, today when I look back, I think on the days I don't want to work, that kind of motivates me. Okay, no, they didn't stop it there, so we can't stop here. So I think these small instances, I think, would change you.
Correct. This is like so nice that you have kind of jotted down these memories, which for a reader, if they read, because I totally believe that we gain a lot of wisdom, which sometimes we don't have to go through certain tests to learn those lessons, but when we read storybooks, when we read something very meaningful, that gives us, the opportunity to have the wisdom without undergoing that kind of lesson, that
Yes, ma'am.
can teach us otherwise. So, for me, I think books is a very fast way of gaining wisdom, and it's something which will always every time you go back to a book with a different mindset, it will help you enhance your perception. So you're so correct that such stories where there is hope instilled, where there is kind of wisdom passing on to the reader, can be a very very meaningful way of helping the world transform around us. Tell me, how did you get to know about the platform BriPublish? What made you choose us, or maybe you could have written it with somebody, some other publication, but why BriPublish?
So what happened was, like, yes, you have something in your mind. Like 20 years back, 20 years back, I read this Wings of Fire of APJ Abdul Kalam. So since then, I had plans. Okay, one day I have to write a book. but I was writing. I was working since last 2 years a lot in that, um, but I was not able to find the right publisher. Maybe I was so busy. Also, it was like really difficult to catch up to them. Then once sometimes you lose the connection, and sometimes they charge a lot actually at the same time. Then I thought, if my story needs so much amount of money, that means it's not it's not something that I put my effort into. So I invested a lot in this book because I have poured in, like my all thoughts inside that. So I wanted a platform which can recognize me and my efforts in a very nice way. And I think there was then suddenly I'm mostly active and at LinkedIn, and LinkedIn only I came across this pre-published post. And at that time I was at the peak of my work, but I don't know suddenly how everything was like apart. I was like, this time I can't miss this, and it came. And I think like good things happen like that only. You don't need to like really panic or do something. It kind of smoothly comes and smoothly goes, and it will smoothly happens. And it very nicely it came, and the process was also really smooth, like the publication. And when you hold your book
It's
first time in
impressive.
your hand, you feel really good. That's another thing.
So, how did you feel, when you got your published copy, delivered to your place?
Actually, I have a like cute novel library in my room, so I'll keep all the novels there. So when I used to come here, I thought कि one day my book also should be here. I have so many, like I'm reading so many books, but one day my book should be there. So when I got this book in my hands, the first thing I did was kept in that shelf, clicked the picture, and I really felt so good. I think that thing I can't express, like how much good I felt.
Lovely, lovely, wonderful experience you had. Thank you so much, uh, Srajati, for this wonderful conversation, the insights, the experiences that you have shared from your personal life. I wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and I hope you will be, writing many, many more books, which give a reflection of your work, and you're able to create that ripple that you wish to transform and make the lives better for all the people around us. Thank you so much, Rita.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really nice to have this conversation. And I think it's best to have conversation with the strangers because you learn something different, catch some different perspectives, and it always enhances your writing.
I agree. I agree. You know that mostly, when I'm doing a podcast, I try and read the author's work. But since we were very busy with the event last week, and then something very critical happened with our CEO, so I kind of couldn't get time to go through your book. Morning also I had one more podcast with one more author, and sorry, I think I called you Shrita. You are Srajati, so my apologies for that also. So usually, I kind of read some half of the work or the story of a reader. But in your case, I couldn't do even the morning when I could do. But whenever I get time, I will catch hold of your work and just go through. And I really wish you all the best for your writing uh, career. It can become a career even along with the work that you're doing. You are an
Yes.
architect. I think uh, you have a lot to share to the world about the spaces that you create. So thanks a lot, dear, and hope to catch up with you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was an overwhelming conversation. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.